Quebec Outfitters Camp is brought to you by Remington, Quebec Outfitters, Can-Am BRP, and Barnes Bullets. This week, the Quebec Outfitters Camp tackles Quebec's North Shore for a fly fishing excursion at La Corneille River Outfitter in the Mégan Archipelago. Though some anglers choose to arrive by air, we're tackling the scenic route up the magnificent St. Lawrence coast to our destination directly across from Anticosti Island. The entire coastline serves as a summer refuge for eider ducks. While the females tend to their nests in the neighboring islands, the males enjoy the bracing salt air and beaches. Havre-Saint-Pierre is the last stop of the trip. Named in honor of St. Peter, the patron saint of fishermen, the location is perfect for enjoying a delicious seafood meal before matching wits with the wily Atlantic salmon, the patron saint of all salmonids. The outfitter is invisible from Highway 138 and can be accessed via a short boat ride. Awaiting visitors at the end of their journey is a hidden corner of paradise. The peninsula and its string of buildings form the outfitter's main site. A comfortable porch expands the living space and provides a sweeping view of the salty Gulf of St. Lawrence and the granite islands scattered in its waters. The world of Outfitter Charles is powered entirely by wind and solar energy, blending it perfectly with its wild and elemental surroundings. The setting sun casts its bluish rays as night falls, and anticipation builds for our first day on the waters tomorrow. Dawn breaks and rouses everyone from their restful slumber. It's time to fish. Our accomplished fly fishers pile into the powered freighter canoes. These shallow draft vessels are ideal for heading upriver, which can be very shallow in places. Our quest for Atlantic salmon begins at the first waters spilling into the river. The setting is perfect for a small group, and the first 20 kilometers of the river are ours alone, since the outfitter holds exclusive rights. The hatch is on and the trout have congregated to gorge, but we're not after trout today. Our first angler, Yves Vincent, puts his trust in an orange streamer and steps up to work his magic. The Lord of the River is quick to respond, but equally quick to escape. Salmon will often leave you bewildered like this. A well-deserved break for our man in blue, who yields his place to the custodian of these waters. With 2 feet in the river, Charles hooks the first salmon of the day. His knowledge of these waters is already paying dividends. Guide Irkael helps the outfitter steer a beautiful little salmon into the net. At La Corneille River Outfitter, sustainability and respect for the fishery come first, which means all salmon, big or small, are released. The more we give to nature, the more it gives back to us. Now David Célaran decides to try his luck in the stained waters of the Corneille River in hopes of repeating the outfitter's success. After a quick test of the pool, the ballet begins with a nice Salmo Solar specimen. The salmon are very active today and smash David's dry fly with abandon. With the bite on, every cast could be a winner. Fish on. The salmon has snatched up its prey and the angler wastes no time setting the hook. It's a nice salmon, but David has seen better ones in his many years of salmon fishing. He keeps his rod high and holds the line to end the fight quickly without exhausting the fish. Ever the gentleman, he leaves his rod for Marc, who is less experienced but just as eager to finish the job. It's very important to keep your rod high when a salmon is hooked so that you can drop it quickly to release the tension on the line if the fish jumps. True to form, Guide Irkael is ready with the net. The rubber netting protects the fish if it flops around so it can be safely released to fight another day. Say cheese. Releasing a fish is an art form. The salmon should be held facing the current until it regains its strength. It's not recommended to revive the fish using a back and forth motion, since this prevents it from breathing naturally. Atlantic salmon prefer clean, wild rivers, and the Corneille River is no exception to this rule. This is why the Outfitters team works tirelessly to preserve the pristine natural beauty of their territory, where this noble yet fragile warrior can continue to thrive. Back from fishing, the camps are deserted and our anglers are getting ready for happy hour. It's all well and good to go fishing, but you also have to take time to enjoy such a stunning natural setting. Everyone celebrates a great day of fishing over a few cocktails. Between the lobster from the Magdalen Islands, the sea scallops from Havre Saint-Pierre, the homemade sushi, and the array of other gourmet delights crafted lovingly by the Outfitters' expert chefs, it's surprising that the guests can even find time to talk. With a maximum of 6 guests at the main site at any one time, the island offers an intimate experience in keeping with its remote location. Guests who want to get out and explore can collect mussels, clams, and sea urchins on the surrounding islands. Like any good host, Charles raises a glass to toast the success of tomorrow's outing. The Corneille River teems with salmon, but they're not the only fish species found in these waters. In addition to the sea trout found in the salty river mouth, the river also holds Arctic char, landlocked salmon, and brook trout, which our team will be targeting this morning. To simplify things, the outfitter has a full array of fishing gear available for guest use. The waters of the Corneille River are very diverse, ranging from torrents and pools to Lake Tanguay and its 25 kilometers of shoreline. Shelters and cabins can be found the length of the river. To say that the trout are cooperating would be the understatement of the year. The fish come fast and furious, and the rods are working overtime. Even Yves is getting in on the action, and his masterful technique is finally starting to pay off. A shore lunch puts the crowning touch on such a wonderful morning of fishing. While our anglers recover from the morning's exploits on the shore, the outfitter and his guides are busy preparing onions and frying the fish. And no shore lunch is complete without beans, of course. You couldn't ask for anything better. Fresh trout served in a majestic natural setting. It should be enough to keep our anglers going as they test their mettle for a final time against the river's Atlantic salmon. Back at the first cabin, the outfitter is first to brave the current. Though the sun is beating down, the reply comes quickly as the fight begins between Charles and the aquatic beast. The outfitter tries to strike a balance between playing the salmon and landing it before it's too exhausted. The net that Irkael holds is similar to rubber nets in that it's not abrasive and will not blind or injure the fish. Yet again, another magnificent specimen finds its way into the net. The valiant fighter leaves the water for a quick photo and is just as quickly released into the river to avoid oxygen starving the fish. Charles' face lights up with the satisfaction of such a beautiful catch. Now it's Yves' turn to try his luck, and this time it's no laughing matter. Failure is not an option. No sooner said than done as a superb salmon takes the fly of our man in blue. The salmon fights hard and seems to have other plans for the man in the pastel shirt, but Yves finally gets the upper hand on his underwater adversary. Like any good salmon fisher, Yves keeps his fish underwater while it regains its strength. Before giving the salmon its well-deserved freedom. It's hard not to smile after such a magnificent fight. Our journey into this unique natural world wraps up with a Corneille River outfitter tradition. As they relive their spectacular catches from the past few days, our fly fishers savor some champagne on Sunset Rock, with the Gulf of St. Lawrence as the majestic backdrop. There's no better way to end such an extraordinary and picturesque adventure. was another adventure with the Quebec Outfitters Camp, between land and sea, deep in the heart of the North Shore's wild beauty. We'll see you next week for another colorful episode of the Quebec Outfitters Camp.